Back again. Last video cut short. That's what you get for using a camera with a low battery. Never mind. Yes, this off-the-grid solar cost is a question that hounds us and hounds most people that are off-grid. The relativity. I don't know whether perhaps most people that are contemplating this off-grid lifestyle should perhaps do a bit of a tuitional style learning session on relativity. Everything to do with off-grid, like so many things in life, is relative. Relative to what resources you have available, relative to the effort that you're prepared to put in, relative to your fitness, relative to your state of mind. It just really depends. But I mean, if I had $1 for every time somebody, or I read that somebody asked the question, how much solar should I have? Well, you know what? Don't ask that question. Go back to the first question. How much resource do you have? If you have $300,000, $400,000 from selling a house in Melbourne, fine. Go bang a 60 grand system in, get someone, pay someone to do it. That's fine. If you haven't got that sort of money, well then look at all of the alternatives, which is what we did. Learn how to do it yourself. Research, research, research. Don't expect people to hand feed you. You need to learn this stuff for yourself. Yes, so this whole thing of what does it take to go off grid is again a relative question. Relative to what you are prepared to do, relative to what you are capable of doing, and relative to what you expect. The end result, I think, is actually something that people perhaps dream of but don't think through clear enough. We lived with minimal in the beginning many years ago, and this time around I was not prepared to live with minimal. We decided we would upgrade many things, and we're still in the process of cleaning up all the loose ends. We haven't even begun to start the hydroponics or the garden section. All of these poles that you see kicking around here, a huge wraparound. It's about 10 metres by 10 metres. Don't worry about the cement mixer, obviously, tools lying everywhere. 10 metres by 10 metres will be our hydroponic and basically Dutch bucket wicking bed garden. It wraps the whole kitchen. We even designed the kitchen to have the environment built around it. So you will be inclined to go out and pick your tomato, pick your cucumber, pick your herbs. They'll be right at the kitchen, and hence the need for the kitchen. We do a lot of our cooking outside. And I will do a video on the inside of the house. The inside of the house is totally luxurious. It's EPS, it's simple, but it's clean. It's straight, it's tidy, it's lovely. It's actually a very lovely thing, and I'll do a video on that later. But yeah, relative to the effort, have a good long think about how much you're capable of. What can you drag from the pits of your stomach, from the recesses of your mind? What effort can you drag realistically to the surface and bring to bear on your project? I hate seeing people fail. We happen to know a few people who had grandiose ideas, family members, and gee whiz, their grandiose ideas never came to fruition, not because they weren't keen, not because they didn't even have the money, but because they weren't prepared to think it through. You really do have to think this stuff through seriously. Put your 30 square home up if you've got $1 million. That's fine. Or live with your tin shed. We happen to know people who have done it from the tin shed upwards. Luckily this time around we didn't have to do that. We pretty much just had to drag. And dragging effort out of a 60-year-old body isn't easy. Don't think this came lightly. I mean, I can't emphasise enough. I might be fit and I might be sort of a bit better than the average 60-year-old urbanite, only because I've lived in the bush. I've done for myself, worked for myself, built for myself, built a few properties. Yeah, I have lots of things going for me, but you know what? It still takes one huge effort. I wish the 30 and 40-year-olds that were going off grid would stop and think about what they were doing a bit closer and have expectations that meet the abilities and the skills and the effort and the energy that they have. It isn't a case of how much the solar costs. It isn't a case of, oh, can I build a 30 square home, or can I have a outdoor kitchen with all this stuff? I wish I'd have cleaned it up before, but never mind. Actually looks quite good when it's cleaned up. But yeah, it's not a case of, you know, what you want. It's what you're prepared to do. And I have a bit of a problem with people who come up, go bush, and cut a $500,000 check from their sale in Melbourne. You see them, I mean, before when I was walking around, we don't drive, you know, we haven't got a $40,000 car. We have two, and this is another example of thinking it through. We have two Land Rovers. I don't know, people go, oh, Land Rovers. Well, guess what? Just taking the car for an example. $10,000 car, diesel, fitted with CB radio, fitted with fridge and all the bits. We could bug out in that car in 2 seconds flat. That car will take us anywhere. And even my work car, guess what? Another Land Rover. It's not a diesel, but it's a good work car. I don't drive it far. They're